Cali 93.9, número uno for Reggaeton y más. Yo soy Caro Marquez, feliz de la vida. I mean, it's Friday, it's beautiful, ya no está lloviendo y más importante, tenemos súper buena, hermosa compañía, the beautiful and talented, unique Cali Uchis. ¿Cómo estás?
Oh, tan bella, gracias.
Hola. How are you, girl?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. Yo sé, habíamos platicado hace ratito that you haven't been here in like over, I want to say, ya casi los 3 años.
Sí.
And actually before pandemic, I
Sí.
think you were like one of our last interviews, so it was a blessing to have you here because the world changed completely después de eso. And it's just beautiful to feel kind of normal again and be back. And I'm glad you're here with us de nuevo.
Thank you.
Obviamente has estado trabajando mucho, haciendo muchas cosas. Vinny, my DJ, and I were just enjoying you on Jimmy Kimmel. You were just there.
Oh, yeah. Did you guys watch the show?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
It was great. And
Oh,
I know
thank
I
you.
saw your post. We were like, gosh, I'm nervous. I hope I sing
Yes,
pretty.
because
It was.
I've been sick and I had 2 hours of sleep, so I was trying to warm my voice up in the back, but
Pues,
okay, I'm glad you said it.
te salió hermoso.
Okay,
Do
thank
not
you.
worry. And I'm sure those are like los nervios de quizá cada artista. I mean, somos humanos al fin de
claro.
cuentas, ¿no?
Sí.
Entonces, I'm sure those are just the little jitters that come with it.
No, I'm usually never nervous before a show, but for a live TV performance and to be sick, you kind of get in your head for sure, like, oh my gosh. But yeah,
Well,
if you said it went well, then I'm gonna
It
believe
went
it.
fabulous. It went
I hope you
fabulous.
would tell me like, girl, you tanked, but
No, it was beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
We're real excited. Te felicitamos con your third solo album, Red Moon in Venus, que está súper hermoso. Medianoche, I was already listening to a few of the tracks. And obviously your single, which we love, and I want to get into that one immediately because we've been hearing it. Everyone's been streaming it. I Wish You Roses, and it's ese tipo de breakup song, no? Pero without the bitterness is what I read, and I love that en este tiempo because I'm sure you're aware of so many other songs right now, like the breakup songs and muchas tiraderas, especially in este género de reggaeton.
Yeah.
There's a lot of piedradas, right? It's like the thing, and this is the complete opposite. Platícame en por qué. And entiendo un poquito because your style is just like that, but why you would choose this kind of angle when it comes to a breakup song?
yeah. Well, for me, I respect everybody's art and everybody's form of expression. So like, I'm all for everybody else's music too, but I love to do things that people aren't doing. So it's like when there's a trend or there's something that it seems like very of the moment, I always like to do the opposite. And so that's why I felt like it was a great single to lead with, and also, it just felt very pure-hearted. Like, there was a song I always used to listen to when I was little by Joatan called I Wish You Love. And that definitely inspired the song. I always wanted to make a song like that, about just releasing people with love, being able to let people go out of your lives without having that negative emotion. Because I genuinely feel like when you hold on to resentment or when you hold on to bad feelings, you're really only hurting yourself. It's scientifically proven we physically damage our health by wishing bad for other people. And so... I always think the best thing to do is just live and let live and roll with the punches.
I love that. And this album definitely tiene mucho de eso. Las canciones, y yo creo la inspiración, ¿no? Es de amor. Just like you said, give love, be love, self-love.
Yeah.
I mean, just with that track alone, I Wish You Roses, for a breakup song. I mean, hay personas que ni quiere ver a su expareja ni en pintura y tú aquí, te doy rosas. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, when I wrote that song, I really wasn't speaking about an ex or anything. It was really just the feeling of, like, wanting to put that into the world of being able to, how I said, release people with love. And even though it does come off romantic, it's like I felt like I have left a lot of people in the past when it comes to like friends, family members, whatever. Ex is like the last thing that I ever think about, to be honest. But yeah, I love to be able to inspire people to want to be their higher selves, because that's what I strive to do with this album.
In regards to that and being your higher self and that self-love, platícame, porque a veces la gente, they need to be kind of hearing this over and over, el amarse uno mismo, because if you're not 100%, you're not 100 en todos los aspectos de tu vida. Porque es tan importante de comenzar allí, because sometimes you just want to give all your love to your child, all your love to your pareja, all your love to your proyecto, pero si no comienza desde dentro, then everything quizás alrededor is not 100.
Yeah, very true. I always feel like the most important thing, because how you said, it's like we spend so much time giving ourselves to the point where we don't have anything left for ourselves. And I mean, for me, that the women in my life that I seen growing up, like in my family and stuff, they were, you know, very typical Latina women that are like that, you know, they do everything for the family and they do everything for everyone else. And I actually have a lot of women in my family that aren't that way, but I think when I seen the ones that they give all everything and don't have anything left for themselves, it really shows you why not to be that way, because that's not, you're not even able to do your best for your kids, do your best for your whoever it is in your life that you're trying to do your best for. You can't even do the best because you don't have it for yourself. So number one is definitely to take care of yourself. Absolutely.
Always, always. Ámate primero antes que nada. As I said last night, me desvelé escuchando tus canciones. And yes, we love that single, I Wish You Roses. But I'm going to tell you the one that I was like, what? She did not kick off with this song is Love Between. I'm a big fan of oldies.
Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely.
the way you kicked off with that, like, and that's the kind of style of music that I think you have, por lo menos, es lo que me recuerda. I grew up with oldies, with the Delphonics, with Barbara Mason, and you know, the Tempreys, right?
Yes.
So when I hear that soulful tone of yours and that jazzy, it's so beautiful and soothing. You remind me of that. So I mean, the idea behind having Love Between, why? Porque también eres fan de oldies, te encanta esa canción.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, when I started my start in music, it was revolved around oldies. I've always been called an old soul, you know, even when I was little, and I've always felt very called to music that wasn't modern. And so for me, that was what I loved to do. I come from a jazz background, so I already had those jazzy inflections in my voice when I started singing. And I don't know, that's just, I love to play with different genres, but that's always where my heart is going to be, I feel like, in soul music and in oldie style music is really where my heart is. But you know, she's versatile. She loves to, you know, play around, do things that are different. So.
It's beautiful. And I think those that also have that love for oldies. I mean, I was just with Guap and his fiance, Cece. We're at a Brentwood concert, and it was fantastic. Oh, my, it was fantastic. And I just feel, yes, we love all kinds of style of music. We're in LA, right? There's everything, poquito de todo. I mean, trabajo en una emisora de reggaeton, pero, and then you just have that ganas to want to just listen to that old school oldies but goodies. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, to be able to, you know, dip my feet and everything and do a little bit of everything is, for me, the funnest thing, because it's like, yeah, there's never a time where I only listen to one style of music. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's never a time where I'm only going to make one style of music, but I love oldies for sure. Which
is why your sound is so eclectic, so beautiful, you know, and especially when we play Telepatía, I mean, over and over, were you surprised on like I'm sure when you're doing your song and te estás enfocada en la música, en la lírica y todo, pero no sé si piensas en cómo va a explotar, y esa canción explotó en todos los aspectos, en all the plataformas. How was your feeling detrás de Telepatía?
Sí, eso para mí fue demasiado, like, took me completely by surprise, because I didn't have I've never made a project with intentions of it being commercial. I've never been a commercial artist, but that project especially, I was very much by my label told, like, you're on your own. So I was just like, okay, I'm just going to do this for me. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to put it out and move on. And that song was never a single. It never had a music video. It never had any type of push. And it just randomly started, you know, se hizo viral, se hizo tendencia in TikTok and in Shazam and in a bunch of places. Mm-hmm. People were just trying to find out, what is the song? And I think it was just also a matter of, like, perfect timing, because, you know, obviously how you were saying, like, the last time I came here was right before the pandemic. The last time I came here was right before I dropped Sin Miedo. And I dropped Sin Miedo, like, in the middle of the quarantine. So there was no way to, like, promote it or do shows or tour or any of that stuff. But that was the other reason. And I dropped it at the worst time. It was, like, November, which is, like, it's an industry thing where it's, like, that's last quarter, you know, like, people don't really like to drop around that time, whatever, la, la, la. I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter, because this album is just not going to do anything. It's okay. And that song started taking off around, like, February, like, around Valentine's Day. And how I was saying, I guess that in the, you know, the lyrics are about, you know, obviously, like, having a non-physical relationship with someone, having something with somebody that's, you know, telepathic, la la la. Mm-hmm. I think people could really that resonated deeper because of the times we were in.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it's really special when you're able to make music that also reflect the times in a way. And so I think that's why it was such a amazing moment for that project. and definitely like the staple song of that project.
Sin querer queriendo, right? It was perfect.
It just happened,
And it's still a beautiful song. I mean, por lo menos te lleva, just like every song should, you hear a song, and I'll go back to oldies. It takes you to that time, or it takes you to, a place in time, o te trae una memoria, en esa canción definitivamente hace eso para muchas personas. So we're just happy that we're able to play it here on Cali 93.9. Another one of my favorite songs of yours, and I just love your stuff. I was literally going through all your songs, is that Flight 22, and that's from like, this girl's es una de las millas porque tienes ese estilo tan bonito, tan soulful, like I said, and I love that you throw in the Spanglish, whether you're doing an all Spanish album, whether you're doing both. I love that sigues siendo tú misma and you throw that Spanglish. I mean, that's how you grew up, that's how we are, that's how LA is. Y no tienes miedo de eso, porque a veces no tienes fanática de quizás entienden 100%, but it's your style, and I dig it.
Thank you.
Why is it so important for you to just stick to that all the time and not always go by the rules? Because I'm sure there's so many reglas in tu industria, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I really started on my own by myself in my room. So I didn't start making music like, I'm going to be part of the music industry. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, I'm an artist. This is my life. This is who I am. And something that I've always lived by is that I just love to be able to do whatever I want. I don't limit myself when it comes to, I don't let anybody tell me what to do or who to be or what to make. And so that obviously was going to translate into my artistry, because that's just the person that I am. Like, even before I made music, I just always been that type of person. Very much don't tell me what to do type of person. So yeah, I don't know. That's just me. I've never felt the need to compromise, because I've never had, like I was saying, like those ambitions, like, to be number one or to sell this many records or to whatever, put those like capitalistic implications on my art. I've always felt the most important thing for me was like, with my art, what type of contribution I'm making to the world, what I'm putting out, what is my most authentic contribution. And besides that, I mean, I make my money in other ways, so yeah.
I think you've stayed true to yourself, y se nota, porque eres muy en una manera bonita and positiva, muy diferente a lo que es lo normal en esta industria. Sometimes you're right, people get caught up in just trying to be that number one and trying to be the next sex appeal or serlo de cierta manera, y tú lo haces de tu manera, and it's beautiful and it's real, y se nota y se escucha. 100%, I'll tell you that right now.
De manera o de ninguna. That's always been my, like...
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
You should be like that. And not a lot of people have... I'm going to have to bleep this, but mucha gente en la industria, especially when they're trying to make it y tienen esa ilusión y sueño, no tienen los suficientes huevos to do that.
Yeah.
De mi manera, cuando me dé la gana, and it's going to get done.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I've just never had that, like, am I going to make it? Like, I want to make it. Like, I've never had that mentality. I've always had the mentality, like, I would go hungry for my art and I will figure it out, and I'll figure out ways to make money in other ways. So, yeah.
Te felicitamos mucho en la persona que eres. Se nota que eres súper linda, aún más linda en persona, and I don't mean just in the physical. And y todo el éxito, disfruta of this new album that you just dropped. I'm not, how long did it take you? Like, I think like 5 years or so?
Well, I was
or
actually working on it while I was working on Sin Miedo. Because like how
Beautiful.
you were saying, like, growing up, speaking Spanglish, being bilingual, I went to school in Colombia. I learned to like read and write Spanish first. And then that like, esa mezcla has been such a big part of my artistry and such a big part of my discography, like trying to find that balance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finally found that balance by saying, when I decided that Sin Miedo was going to be my second album, I also decided my third album was going to be English again, and my next one's going to be Spanish.
Yay,
so I'm just gonna keep doing,
look at that.
English. And then, obviously there's a couple songs on this record that are Spanish,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hasta Cuando, and ¿cómo se llama la otra? Porque it used to be called Amanecer. Oh, Como Te Quiero Yo is what it's called now. That one. But yeah, I guess just not feeling any pressure to like have to just stick to one language or
I dig
whatever.
that.
So
I dig that. It's beautiful. And I'm sure like you're constantly getting inspired, y aún de repente quieres escribir. Are you already archiving stuff for the Spanish album?
Yeah, exactly. So that's
Cool,
how
I
it was.
dig
Like
that.
while I was working on Sin Miedo, if I happened to make a song in English or I happened to make a song that felt soulful, I was like, okay, I'm working on this album that's a little bit more soulful, a little bit more a whole different mood from Sin Miedo and a whole different mood from what I have coming up next, which is my Latin album. So yeah, that was why those songs in Spanish ended up going on this one, because I'm like, these don't go with my next project, but they're in Spanish, but it's okay because the ambiance, the feel, thematically, they all go with Red Moon and Venus. So yeah.
Te felicitamos en eso, and we're excited for that Spanish album, obviamente aquí en Cali 93.9. Meanwhile, you're archiving that songs y tienes ya ideas de cómo va a sonar. Ya tienes idea con quién quizás si vas a querer colaborar con alguien, or you don't.
I don't know. I'm still thinking about, because I don't like to do a lot of features, you know, especially because I've already done a lot of features before, so it's like you get kind of tired of it in a way. Probably I want to have maybe like 2 features on the album, if anything. So I'm just trying to find who are those 2 people that I feel like will make a good balance on the record. We'll see.
Well, I'm sure they'll come to you. Lo tienes que sentir, right? I'm sure it's not just something that's going to look nice or be cool. You have to feel it.
Well, there is one person I already know, because they're going to be on the No Hay Ley remix, which is going to be on this album.
Can you tell us, or será sorpresa?
I think it should be a surprise.
All right.
I think it should be a surprise just because it's not coming soon. So, but I do think the remix is better than the original.
Oh, cool.
And this person really like killed their feature, and I'm sure you're a fan of them. They're great, and yeah, I'm excited.
Now we want to know. Well, te deseamos todo el éxito como siempre. Gracias a Dios you're able to come back. Y ojalá nada crazy pasa en el mundo from here until then, but this is your home. Come Cali, which is whenever you want.
Thank you.
And disfruta of your party on Tuesday, of your album, of the single, y todo el éxito que te mereces. Thank you so much for your beautiful music, for your beautiful sound and style, and we appreciate you very much.
I appreciate it. I appreciate your genuine love.
This is for you.
Oh, so cute.
For I Wish You Roses. Unas rosas para ti.
So sweet. Thank you so much.
They were the prettiest ones I found, so ojalá te encanten.
Gorgeous. I love that.
From here at Cali, and again, que Dios te bendiga. Thank you for your beautiful music. And I mean, Vinny would know, I stay talking about oldies all day. Sometimes me van a correr del jale porque I just love it so much. So when I hear your music, it's just beautiful, and I love that about you. So thank you for always giving us your style, but aún todavía allowing us to love what we love también, right? So mucha suerte en todo, éxito, and nada, thank you for coming, Cali Uchis.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Somos Cali 93.9, and we'll be back con más música.